Hello and welcome back. This is our second video in our WordPress.com series, and it will be our last for WordPress.com. From this point, after this video, from that point forward, we will be working on our self-installs. So today's lesson is really going to be about building up content, working with themes, and really finishing up the site. I'm not so worried about having a ton of content. This was really just a intro for you to get familiar with WordPress and WordPress.com. WordPress.org, our self-install, is going to be a much different monster. So this is kind of the get your appetite wet and get going on these projects. So let's get into it. And I already have my site up here, and you know how to log in, so I'm not going to go through all of that. And normally you do start with the My Site, which is the dashboard for WordPress.com. And what I'm going to do is click on View Site. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to open the link in a new tab. And I did this in the last video, so I have the site without any of the WordPress.com wraparound for the admin. That way I can just hit refresh and see my changes very quickly. So I have two tabs open. I have our WordPress.com layout, and then I also just have the site itself with the subdomain here. One of the other things we're going to do today is we need to work with some images. And so I'm going to suggest that you actually go to a website called unsplash.com. And you can get really cool free photos here to work with. And I always like to push using non-copyrighted work, or if you do use copyrighted work, you pay for it and or get permission for it. So this is a good way for us just to grab some images to work with. And we'll be jumping into this in a little while, but I did want to show you that tab that I have open. It's called unsplash.com. So I have three tabs open. When we get to that point, we start uploading. I've already downloaded a few images, but you'll be able to pick some, and I'll show you how to do that. I really want you to do it instead of me just handing images over to you. And the reason for that is these are skill sets that you need to build up. You need to be able to go find images that you can use if you're working for a client or yourself. So it's very important that you learn how to use these tools. So where I left off, we used the basic theme. I think it was 2015, if I'm not mistaken. We made some changes, but we don't really have any content. We have one post, The Journey Begins. We have one page, which is Contact Me, and it has a very basic contact page on it. So it's a start, but we need to add a little bit more. And because this is kind of a made-up site, we're not going to do a ton of work in here, but we still want to have some pages. We'll have a post. We'll have to create a few of those as well. So I'm going to come back here. And before we jump into that, I did want to talk about themes. In the last video, we didn't jump in and start dealing with the themes. And the reason was I wanted to get you a very good overview of WordPress before we started changing the look and the layout. And I'm actually going to wait on this as well. I've had people ask me in the past, why don't you do this right away? This is where we do customization. And one of the reasons is it's difficult to teach WordPress when we all have different themes, because the themes can do different things. Every theme has built-in settings that are different. So by sticking with the basic theme that it comes with, this allows me to teach something that we can all have a basic foundation with. So we'll be coming back to that too once we get some content in here. And I like to have a lot, I wouldn't say a lot, but more content than we have. That way, when we do turn on a different theme, you can see how it reacts with the content. So let's go to, excuse me, let's start with pages. So I'm going to go to Site Pages. And we have two pages that have been created. We have blog posts. If you notice, it says not in use. Untitled is the front page. What that tells me is we have not set the home page to be a static page. It just uses the posts. And we got into that a little bit last week in the settings where we could change it. And I think I might have changed it very quickly to the Contact Us page. But if you want your blog posts to show up somewhere in a grouping on the page, you have to, or on the website, you have to have a page for those things to go to. And like I said, it's not in use right now. But we have Contact, and it was created 11 days ago. little pull down menu over here is edit, view page, stats, copy, and trash. What's great about this is if you build a page or a post, you just want to copy it, you can do a quick copy of it. So if you have it formatted in the way you like, you can build it out. But I'm going to click on edit. And this is the page editor. Pretty straightforward. So this is the image that's at the top, and this is one of the ones that it came with. Someone sitting at a table with a phone. We can edit it if we want to, but I think we'll leave this one because it's a contact page. You don't have to have this image. And just to show you what this page looks like, when I click on Contact Me, we get the image at the top and the contact info down here at the bottom. So you can see it's what you see is what you get. So it shows us the URL of this page. So this is our site /contact. You can edit this. So you could put contact us if you want to, but we want to try to keep these as simple as possible. So I'm going to leave that alone. Then we have add content. We have our formatting, our paragraph, and our heading 1 through 6. So in HTML, we have our standard paragraph, and then we have our H1 through 6. You'll notice there's really nowhere to change the font name, and that's based on the theme. Remember the fonts we did in the previous video, and we set them as the body and as the side and the header and those types of things. We can set the size of the images here, and we can do text. We do bold and italic and bullet points and that, but we can't change the font here. So we can't change the font face. We have bold, italic, a bulleted list, a numbered list, insert, edit link, block quote, align left, align center, align right. We can proofread writing, and then insert read more tag, which we'll get to here in a few minutes. And then we also have advanced, and that gives us some strike throughs, underlines, horizontal line, justify. We can change the text color. We can clear any formatting that we've done. We can paste as text if you don't want any formatting. We have special characters. We can increase or decrease, and then we have some undos and redos. This here is a form. I can edit the form. So you notice when I float over, I select it, we get an edit or remove. And we can add these from here. We can add media from Google. There is a free photo library, which we'll get into as well. There's a contact form and even a payment button. So these are the things that we can add in. If you just want to type, you can place your cursor ahead here. I'll throw enter in and I'll start typing. To contact Sean, please fill out the form below. I can select that type. I can make it bold, italic. I can align center. I think I'm going to do align center and bold. And let's just change the color too. Remember, if you don't have these advanced, you want to click on toggle advance. And I don't know, let's make it red. Yeah, if you notice, I really can't change this. I can't select the name and the email, but I can edit it. You'll see here we have a name. It's a required field. Email, required email address. Comment, required text area. You can add new fields. So let's say we want to get their zip code. I can do add new field. We can put a label on it. We can put in zip code. The field type. This is just a text. And do you want to make it required or not? I'm not going to make it required. If I hit update, we now get an area for zip code. I'm going to go back and edit. If you go to settings, this is where the email address it goes to. By default, it's always going to go to the email that you gave WordPress. And what should the subject line be? So if, we can say filled out form from WordPress.com. And my email address is here as well. If you want to enter multiple, put a comma. And now the email will go to more than one person. I'll hit update. And we get our nice new little form. So if I hit update in the top right corner, it will update our site now. If I come back and hit refresh, we get zip code. And look, to contact Sean, please fill out the form below. So now, let's look at HTML. This is the HTML, the hypertext markup language. So if you know code and you know how to write code, you can actually add your own code in here. Most of you probably will not, but if you do know how to do it, you have the option. If you'll notice, there's the fields are pretty straightforward when you look at how they are. They're contact field, label, name, type, required. You know, they're just bracketed out. So if we were writing HTML and we wanted to put in any of these new forms, I can actually write these if I wanted to. I can copy paste them, but for the most part, you're probably not going to do this. But there are some quick tools if you want to make things bold and alignment. The code is right here. You can also add as well, and it'll add it in the HTML. But I'm going to guess most of you are going to stick with visual because it's like using Microsoft Word or another word processing program. So the contact page is pretty much done. I'm not going to do anything else to it. It was just a nice little pre-built page. We can, like I said, change the image if we want to. I'm going to leave it though for now. I'll close this up. So I want to go through these settings over here. We have our page settings. We have status, the date it was published. If it's public, you can change the date and go back in time. If you go into the future, this page will not load until the future date. So if I made this another date, it's scheduled for tomorrow. So it will schedule, if you're writing things, let's say you're doing articles and blogs and you wrote 5 or 6 of them and you want one to come out every day, you can set the status on that. Featured image is this image that's here. I can change it if I wanted to, but we'll leave it. Page attributes. This is a top level. So this is a top level page. We want that to be up at the top and disabled to select a parent page. So let's say we had multiple pages underneath one. So we have a contact, but maybe we'll create a map page as well, or something that's an address. We would turn this off and we could put it underneath the contact page. And so the two would interact with each other. The contact would be the parent, and then the new page we create would be a child underneath the parent. Sharing. We can show sharing buttons. So if I turn on both of these. And there is a short link. This is really nice. If you have long titles like this, you just want to give a short link for this, this link will go directly to this page. More options. We have a slug, excerpt, location, and discussions. If you notice the discussions are off, I'm not going to turn these on because you don't want to have discussion pages on your contact. But you can allow pings and trackbacks as well. I am going to turn that on. So when other people link to this page from other WordPress sites, you'll get a ping back or a trackback. The slug, if you notice, it matches up here, contact, contact. And an excerpt is a short summary that you can add to your posts. Some themes show excerpts alongside post titles on your site's homepage and archive pages. We're not going to do that for a contact page, but we will do it for one of our posts. So you can see pages are very static in their nature. They don't change very much. You know, dates don't change on them. This pretty much stays the same all the time. So as I said in the very first video, pages are for static items and posts are for things that change and that are fluid and have dates. So I'm going to, oh, I've got a schedule issue, don't I? If I hit schedule, I don't think it's going to go live. Yeah, we got the wrong time. So let's pick yesterday. How's that? And I'll publish it. Yeah. One thing I didn't talk about was public. I'll go back. Whoops. Go back to my contact. One thing I did not do was talk about the public pull down. So you can make it for just admins and editors, so people who are an administrator and editor on your page, or you can password protect it as well. So if you want to give out a password and the link to people, maybe it's something you don't want the public to see, but you want certain people to be able to go and view it, you can put on a password and send it out. Makes for a very quick way of securing data, and it does work. So we went over the page settings. So I'm going to hit close up in the top left corner. And we need another page now. And let's do an about page, because that's pretty much every website out there needs something in about. We have a contact, so let's do about. So if you go up at the top, we can do create a new project. So it's telling us, oh, got it. And let's do about. So this site is all about me, Sean. I like to write posts about, we'll do travel, along with awesome photos that I take. Please feel free to contact me at any time here. I hope you enjoy our site and make one of your own. There we go. So I made up some text here. It could be a photo of me. It could be anything like that. So it's a good place to start. I'm going to put a return in, and I'm going to put, hi, my name is Sean Gloomis. I'm going to select that text, and under paragraph, I'm going to do heading 1. And you can see how large it gets. Maybe heading 2 is a little better. I'm going to select my name. I'm going to do bold and italic. I'm going to do a list below. So I'm going to put a return. Well, actually, let's put a travel, dogs, and photography. You notice I put returns after all these? If you want to go to the next line without a return, Shift Enter will do that. But I want to show you what happens when I select all of these and I come over to the bulleted list. You notice the shift return doesn't get a bullet. So you have to have a full return to get the bullet or numbered list. So if I delete that, it'll go away. So now let's talk about links. Well, this little line I put in here, please feel free to contact me anytime here. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to link it to the contact page. So I'm going to click on Insert, Edit Link. And you'll notice down here, Link to Existing Content. I'm going to click on Contact. It'll put the URL in there. The text link is what we see there. And if we wanted to, we can open in a new window, but we don't want to do that. We don't want people leaving and having multiple windows open. So I'm going to click on Add Link. And we can link anything, images and or text. We can link it to outside sites too. Next one is block quote. I don't have anything to quote. Maybe I'll say something like to be or not to be. If I select it, and I come over to block quote, you'll notice it puts in this nice little gray box and indents it. This is great too if you're writing code and you don't want the code to be read by WordPress. Let's say we're doing a tutorial site on how to write HTML. I would block quote out any HTML. That way it doesn't get read as code, but it's shown as code. Hopefully that makes sense. That's one. Or you got a quote. You pull a quote from the article and you do the block quote on it. So alignment, by default, everything aligns to left, but you can force align to left. You can also do align to center, and you can do align right. Here's the proofreading. I like that because it'll show you when you're making mistakes. It thinks my last name is a mistake, which fine, it is. It is misspelled. The real way is without the E. Let's see if it actually will read it. Whoops. Nah, it thinks it's plumage and other things. So that's how it's normally spelled, but I got the E. So I have a very unique name. I'm the only person in the world with my name. So Google me. Anywho, next one is insert read more tag. We're not going to touch on that one just yet. That's really for posts. And that has to do with our homepage. And we'll get into that. But basically, it adds a tag. Instead of having 5 or 6 paragraphs, you insert that after the first paragraph. And only that first paragraph will show up when the posts are shown on the homepage. Then we have a strike through. Yeah, maybe I say, well, I really don't like to write, so let's strike through it. Or you're a lawyer and you do lots of strike throughs. We do have underline. I'll underline awesome. How's that? We have a thing called HR or horizontal line. If I put a return here and click on horizontal line, you get that nice standard HTML horizontal line. I use these all the time to help break things up visually. We already went over coloring, but we do have justify. So if you want to select a paragraph and click justify, you'll notice now we've got some rivers going here. I don't like justify, but I like ragged right. But it really depends on your layout. But the tool is there. We have our text color again. Maybe my name needs to be blue. Paste as text. Now I want to show you something. I'm going to go to Wikipedia. And I don't know, let's type in tropical island. Yeah, we get an island. If I select this copy, even these images, and copy it, and go back to WordPress. So I'm gonna do this at the bottom because I really don't want, oops. I'm gonna throw a couple returns in there. And I paste. Look what happened. It brought over the images. And it brought over all the text and all of the links. So it's really cool that you can grab and pull. Now the problem is we haven't downloaded these images. So the way WordPress works is it's going and grabbing those images from the Wikipedia server and showing them here. So if those images ever get changed, we lose the link to them. So I always suggest, I know it's very tempting to copy and paste into WordPress. And I even do it myself sometimes with articles and things I want to repost. But if you're really going to make it part of your site, you need to download the images or find new images and then post them directly like the way we've been building. So I'm going to undo, Command Z, or Control Z, sorry. My Mac stuff sometimes comes out. And this time though, I'm going to paste as text. Now it says paste is now on in plain text mode. It's just going to be normal plain text. If you're trying to paste content from Microsoft Word, try turning off this option. So if I hit OK and now paste, look what we get. No links, no formatting, no images. So I'm going to turn this off. Go back. The other way you could do this is if you right click, paste as plain text, and this is in any browser, or if you go under the edit and paste in your browser, it does the same thing, but leaves on the option. Next thing is clear formatting. If I select and hit clear formatting, it will remove any of the formatting that I did. I'm going to leave it on, so I'm going to hit Command Z. Control Z, I mean. I'm undoing. We also have special characters, so if you want to put in any of these special characters and you don't know the key commands, they're all here. So fractions are here. And some others. I'm just clicking on a bunch. And you can see what we ended up with here. So you have some special characters. And then we have indents. This is the closest thing you're going to get to a tab. So if you want to increase the indent here, you can increase the indent. On lists, if you increase the indent, watch what happens. So we can do that, and then we have an undo and redo as well. I use the key commands, though, for that. So those are the basics of your tools in WordPress. And this is WordPress across the board. Doesn't matter if you're using .com or .org. So I don't like to spend tons of time on this. And the reason is it's pretty straightforward. And I would rather have you play and try things out and work with it. So only thing we need to do on this is an image, though. And so what I'm going to do is I want to put an image of myself. But let's say I don't have a picture. I'm just going to put something in here. If I go to add, and if I do media, this is the same media that we've uploaded in the last video. Actually, I'm sorry, we haven't uploaded anything, but this is the media that came with our install. So we have a couple images here. We actually edited one image. Remember, we made the little fav icon in the last video. If I had other images, I can pull from here. There's nothing in this post. There's really no documents, no video, no audio. But if I click add new, I can go and upload. Now, I've already downloaded some images, so let's do this. I want you to go to, and I'll close this for right now. I want you to go to unsplash.com. And I am going to just grab something from the home page here. I don't care what you do. I like that one. How about the kid? So if I click on it, here's related photos. This is, you can click up here, download for free. And it downloads your image. In my case, it downloaded in my downloads folder. You can give a credit badge if you want to. It isn't required, but it's appreciated. I'm not going to do that, even though I probably should. But for the moment, we're not really using these for real. If I was, I would put a little credit down here at the bottom for them. And I might jump back and do that in a second. So now I'm back in WordPress. So I've downloaded an image. I'll do that again. I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to do it once for an image in my body, and then we'll do one for our featured image. So we go through it a couple times. So now I place my cursor where I want that image to be. In this case, I put a return in here. I'll do that a lot as I work in WordPress, just to help move things around. So I'll click add. I'll go to media. This time, though, I'm going to click on add new. I'll go to my downloads, and there it is. Mac or PC, it's probably going to be in your downloads. So I'm going to click on it. Now it's telling me select more than one image to create a gallery. Well, we're going to do that later. Right now, we just want the one image. So I'll say got it. I have it selected. You can edit the image. I'm not going to do that right now, and you can delete it as well. But I like it. I have it selected, the little ones in the corner. And I'm going to click on Insert. And you'll notice it filled it to the full width. If I want to make it smaller, I can click on it and grab one corner and drag. I'm not holding the Shift key down. I'm just dragging, and I can make it smaller. And when you click on it, you'll notice you get a line left, a line center, a line right. So maybe I'll do a line center. And you can increase and decrease the size of those plus and minuses. So you don't always have to grab the edge, but you know, actually I like kind of the full size. We can put a caption on it. Me at the beach. Not really, but it's something. And we can click on edit. This takes us into the title, the caption, the alt text, and the description. So the title of this we'll leave, but we could, you know, like me at beach. I'm not going to put a caption in here, but alt text. Remember in the very first video we talked about alt tags. Alt tags are alternative text tags. So if someone who's blind is using our website, this is what gets read back to them. It will say image, me at the beach. Not the best description. You can put a description in here. Usually I'll make this the same as the alt tag. And then the URL is where it is on the server. This is the actual path of it at the server. The file name, what type of file. It is huge. That's a big image, isn't it? 6,157 by 4,105, and what day it was uploaded. We normally want to make these smaller, but for right now, this is okay. Now we can edit the image. I can crop it. You can rotate it. And you can flip it. So there's some basic tools in here. But the crop tool is great. I can hit done. And there we go. We now have a new image. You can also restore the original. I'll hit update. And you can see what we got now. Much different image, huh? So I decreased the size, made it a little smaller. I'll make it a little bit bigger here. And I'll align to center. It has, if I don't want that caption, I just turn that off. And I can align to center now. You know, we haven't done anything with publishing, so let's hit publish. It's publishing it to the site. And it took me right to back to the real site. So there's my about, there's my name. You notice it looks much different because the theme is changing the font, it's changing the layout. Those are the settings that we did. And there's our I like, and our quote out. And looks like comments are on. So actually, you know what I did here? I believe I put up a post. When I click new, I actually created a post, which is fine. We'll leave it as is. I'm not too worried about it. So if I go back to edit, and I didn't even notice that. It is post, so that's me making a big mistake here, but it's okay. We'll live with it. If I wanted to make this a page, I'd have to copy everything, delete this, and make another page out of it. But for right now, it's fine. So we have our status again up here. It was posted. We have our category tags. I don't want to get into those right now because this really wasn't a post, shouldn't have been a post. And actually, you know something? Let's fix this. I think it's good to make mistakes, and I made a big one here, really. I don't want this to be a post. This really needs to be a page. So what I'm going to do is do a Command A, or Control A, I mean, or drag and select all. I don't want to lose any of the work I did, so I'm going to copy this. You can also copy. So I'm going to close it. So if you notice, I don't have a page on here. It's just contact and blog posts. But if I go to posts over here, look at that. We have about. It's the wrong type of post page. About pages don't change that often. It should be a page. I went up and just started clicking right here, and I created a new post instead of creating a new page. That was my fault. I should have clicked over here on add under site pages. But I'm glad I made the mistake because now we can fix it. This is going to happen to you. It's going to happen to all of us at some point. You're going to create a post instead of a page, or a page instead of a post. And really, there isn't a way just to switch it. I can't go, oh, make a page a post, post a page. It doesn't work that way. So what I did was I copied all the work that I did. I'm going to come into my blog posts, and over here on the right, I'm going to throw it in the trash. Gone. Now, up at the top, it says trashed, right? We want to delete permanently. We want to get rid of it. So there's a safety net here. I got rid of it. Now I'm going to go to Site Pages and click Add over here. You'll notice the default up here is create a new post, because most of the time that's what you're going to do. But I need to create a new page. So I'll click Add, and I'm going to type in About, and then underneath, I'll paste. Boom. We now have an About page. So it was an easy fix. I screwed up though. And so this isn't going to be the first time I screw up, and won't be the last time, trust me. But I like these little mess ups. And the main reason is, as you can see, it allows us to go in and fix things. All right, so if I hit publish now, there's my About page. There's no comments at the bottom. That's what tipped me off a little earlier. So there's About. So I'll go back to Edit. Status is fine. Featured image. Well, let's set a featured image. Don't really have anything here I like, so I'm going to go grab another image. So I'm back on Unsplash, and I don't know. How about this one? That looks cool. Now, if you notice, copy the text below or embed a credit badge. So if I click on copy and I go back to my page and I go down to the bottom here, which is where we should put our credit, and paste, it adds that nice little photo by. Now I'll go back to set my featured image. I'm going to add new. There's my image. It went straight to my downloads, but you'll need to go find it on your drive. Maybe it's on your desktop. Uh-oh. One file cannot be uploaded because an error occurred while uploading. That's interesting. So, maybe it's too big. So I have some stuff on my desktop. Maybe yours is working just fine. Maybe I ran out of room already. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to grab this one here and set the featured image. Interesting. Huh. I haven't seen this before. There we go. So I selected the peer that's used earlier. Page attribute. This is a top level page. Sharing. I turned on the show sharing buttons and show like button and more options. Sorry. We have the slug. We're not going to do an excerpt. We don't want comments, but we do want to allow the pingbacks and trackbacks. And if you forget to do that, don't worry. And I'll click update. So let's go take a look at the site. I'm going to hit refresh. And you'll notice there's no way for me to get to about, right? Where to go? Well, that's because we haven't added it to the menu. So what I'm going to do is hit close. And we're going to go to customize and go to menus. So we have our primary menu. This is the one that's right here. I'll click on it, or I can click on the little edit. And I'm going to add an item. We have home, contact me, and let's add an item. We're going to put about. You'll notice now it shows up. And I'm going to change the order. I want contact me at the bottom. I want home, then about, then contact me. And I'll click publish. Give it a second to upload. And if I hit refresh, there it is. There's my about page. There's the shares. Remember, I turned those on. You can like it as well. So these have it. If I want to share straight to Facebook, I can do that. You'll notice down in the right corner, we get a customize, edit, and stats. When you're logged into WordPress.com and you're on your site, you're always going to get this even if you're just browsing through. You'll notice two up here at the top, we can write and we can add in the reader and jump to the reader and the My Site as well. All right, so we added our new page and we added it to our menu. So let's talk about blog posts. So we have one right now. The journey begins. So ominous. It's like the big journey's here. But it kind of is, though. If you're building this for the first time, you know, it could be overwhelming. So let's take things in baby steps. So I'm going to click on write up here or add over here. And I'm going to call this traveling in Europe. Summer 2018. So this is going to be a blog post, and I'll say something like, this is my big post about traveling in Europe. So I need some text. So I'm going to do a Google search for lorem ipsum. I don't know if any of you have ever used this, but I use it sometimes. And what it means, it's actually comes from typography. It's simply dummy text for printing and typesetting. It's the dummy text that we use since really the 1500s. And they scrambled it to make what's called a type specimen book. Why do we use it? The problem is a reader can be distracted by real text, even if it's fake text. So by doing this, we can generate on this website some lorem ipsum. Boom, look at that. Just some weird looking text, fake Latin. And I'll copy it. So I did a search for, or if you go to lipsum.com, lipsum.com, you can generate your own. So I'll paste it in, and we have some text now. Well, it doesn't like the spell check, but hey, that's fine. So that's my post for this. I'm not going to sit here and write anything. Now, you do want to write content as well. You can't just put up one sentence and then move on. So part of WordPress and blogging is about building your content and making sure you have a lot of it. So we have our text. You can copy and paste anything that you want, but I wanted to show you the lorem ipsum. I use it all the time. InDesign and stuff has a built-in generator. I wish they had a little button here that would just fill it in, but it doesn't. So I want to put an image in here now. So I'm going to go to Add. And this time I'm going to do Free Photo Library. So it says, use the search above to find free photos. Well, let's look for London. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So I'm going to grab one of these, and I'm going to insert. Look at that. Oh, and even put who it was from. You know, we can resize if needed. Or I'm going to do the full. Then maybe I'll have another image here that's going to be on the right. So I'll do the same. I'm going to place my cursor in front and do Add. And I like this better. We're going to stick with this. But I did want to show you how to find your own free photos. Here, it's boom. It's right here. So let's put in Paris. There's the Louvre, so we'll do that. And I'll insert. I want this to be smaller. And I'm going to do a line right. Maybe you don't want that caption. Well, you can turn that off. And then doing a line right. And then at the bottom, I want to put in a gallery. So I'll click on Add, Media Free Photo Library. And let's search for Europe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to do copy to media library. You notice it wasn't just one photo, so it needs to move these over to our media library. So it's moving over all of the images. Very nice. So I have them all selected. I'll hit continue. And you'll see what it does. It builds a nice either tiled mosaic. We can do thumbnail grid. That's ugly. You can do individual images. Tiled mosaic's nice. Tiled squares is nice. You can do circles. Here's a tiled columns or a slideshow. I'm going to do the tiled columns. I like that one. Actually, let's do circles. Circles are kind of cool. And then we want to link to the media file, not the attachment page. Otherwise, it opens another page with the image. We want to do link to media file. I'm going to hit insert. We end up with kind of a nice layout there. So I can continue adding content to this. This is where you need to become creative. Play. I can sit here all day and show you how to do this, but you need to get in here and get your hands dirty and play with it and try inserting and try putting in text and other things. We're going to create one more post after this, and we're going to bring over some content from YouTube. We're going to embed a video. But for right now, this one's done. So let's look at the status. We'll publish immediately. If we want this to be on the front page all the time, we can stick to front page, and you'll see this little tag shows up. Categories. We need to add a category to this, right? So let's call this travel. I added it. I'm going to uncheck uncategorized. We'll come back and play with that later. But this goes into my travel category. So posts can go into a category. Pages cannot. And we can organize. So you can have a post in multiple categories. This could be travel in Paris and Europe. We can create multiple tags for this. So it's a way of organizing and finding content in your site in a way that people are used to. They can search for it. Tags, I'm not a huge fan of tags, but you can. These are like keywords. So you could put Europe in here, comma, Paris, comma. You'll notice that every time I hit comma, it creates its own. And London, comma. Up to you. But featured image, let's set a featured image for this. We got some really nice photos that were imported here. So I am going to grab the Louvre. And there's my featured image. Sharing is turned on. Now we can connect new services to this, other sites, but we'll stick with what we have. Post format is standard. There is an aside, an image, video, quote, link, gallery, status, audio, and chat. Chances are you're going to stick with standard with most of what you're working with. If you have posts that are just one thing, like the post is just an image, no text, anything else, then you want to set that. Same thing with video and some of the others. But I'm going to guarantee right now 99% of the time, starting out is going to be standard. So let's publish this. So you can see, I want to point this out. What we're doing is not that difficult in terms of creating. This isn't like Photoshop where I'm having to teach you 500 different things at one time. This is very linear and straightforward. You just have to take your time, do things one thing at a time. And once you've done this 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 times, it just becomes second nature. You're just doing these things, boom, 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 and it works. So there we go, traveling in Europe, summer 2018. Looks nice, doesn't it? That's why I like the lorem ipsum. Then if I click here, it opens the image. So I took some beautiful images, didn't I? So looks good. It shows the date, who posted it, what category it's in, and the tags. And what's great about the tags is if I click on one of these, it will show me everything in the site that's been tagged with London. But here's the problem. Look how long this gets. It's like, oh, I don't want all this. I just want, when someone's looking at this on the home page, I don't want to go, then the next one. So what we need to do is I'm going to hit close. I'm going to come back and edit. So blog posts and edit. I'm going to add in right after the very first paragraph, insert read more tag. And then I'm going to update it. Watch what happens. We get a little dotted line here. It says more. But when I come back here and go to my home page, and I'm scrolling through now, continue reading. It's not this long, it goes right to the next one. So that's where the more tag comes into play. I use it all the time with my posts. So that looks good. I'm happy. So I'm going to go back. I'll hit close. I'm going to go back to my add blog posts. So this is going to be my travel video, number 2098. So I do a lot of vlogging, not blogging, but vlogging, video logs or video blogs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to YouTube real quick, and I am going to steal someone's travel blog. Here's one that I actually follow. I know this is weird, but this is a guy in Great Britain who does narrow boating. He lives on a little boat that goes through the canals. Sounds awesome, doesn't it? So here it is, called Cruising the Cut. And there's the guy there. So say hi to him. Anyway, I want to put this on the webpage. Normally you would go to share and you would embed. So this can be any YouTube video. Doesn't have to be this one. So please don't go, I can't find that video. Find a video you like. Look at all the things out of here. But what you could do is copy the URL at the top. Copy. Come back to the post. And I'll say this week's video blog or vlog. And I'm going to paste it. And look what happened. The moment you paste it, it will automatically embed it. So any video that you put in here, all you have to do is copy and paste. So if I wanted to grab another one of his videos, here's his bigger website, or not website, but this is his what do they call it? Channel. Sorry, that was bad. A little bit about him. I'll just give him a nice little credit here. You can take a look. All the information about him and all that. He's had almost 7 million views, 40,000 subscribers. Like I said, I watch it. I watch a lot of YouTube channels. But I want to grab a second one, maybe this one too. I'll copy it. And I'll paste it in. Now I have 2 videos on this page. So I put a little bit of text in here maybe. Well, we need a featured image. So once again, we'll go through. I'm happy with what I have here. It's not much, but it's exactly what I want. I just want the video. And we have our status. We haven't published immediately yet. So do we want this to stick to the front page? Probably not, because we'll be posting a lot of them. We don't do pending review. That's if other people need to review our stuff. But categories and tags, it defaults to uncategorized. But let's put in a new tag, or sorry, a new category, and we'll call it vlog. And we want it to be a top level. Tags, I don't know, let's do narrow boat, because that's what this is about. Boats. And we can add a few more in there as well. And maybe this is England, United Kingdom. And then I can come in and let's set a featured image. I don't know, I'm just going to randomly pick something here. How about this one? Sharing is turned on. This is a standard post format. Because it has text, we wouldn't make this a video. If it was just straight video, we could set the post format as video. But we have text in here. And then under more options, we don't. If we wanted to set the location of this, I don't know. Let's. I'm just kind of putting York, Northshire, UK because it's in the video there. I can set it North Yorkshire near Leeds. And I'll hit publish. Publish immediately. And we should now have a video running, or a travel video log here. If it publishes, there we go. And there we go. We can watch the video right in the page. Nice and simple. This also works for audio from other places. It's amazing how many different ways you can embed just by copy and pasting the link. So Vimeo works the same way if you've ever used Vimeo for video. So let's go back to the home page here. I'm going to hit refresh and look what we got. Do you notice, even though this one's newer, the video, it's not the first one because we set the other to be featured. So all of our blog is on the home page, which is fine. We have a search, so if I type in London, nothing found. That's because there's no text that says London. Maybe vlog. There we go. Search results for vlog. If I click on it, it takes me into the video. Oh, here's where it says, sometimes visitors will see an advertisement here. We can remove them completely. And even marked where it was from, North Yorkshire, UK. All right. So I'll go back here and I'm going to hit close. We now have 3 posts. Some of them are in different categories as well. There's no drafts. You can always do a draft. That's something that will be in the future, or you post yourself. And each of these do have the comments. Did I turn on the comments? Let's look real quickly. Yes, comments are turned on here. So if I go and look at this page and scroll down, people can leave replies. Only if they're logged in to WordPress.com. It does show previous as well. All right, so we actually have a working website. There's lots of little pieces here that you can play with and work with. But the great part is you now have enough to start building out even more. I suggest uploading video to YouTube. MP3 files and audio files you can upload to WordPress and embed them. But any video that you have, use YouTube. First of all, you're going to get a wider audience right off the bat. And you saw how easy it was for us to embed directly into the site. So as I said, I really suggest using WordPress for that. Now, I want to go back through a few of these that we glossed over in the first video very quickly. So here are our stats. There's not much in here because no one's visiting, but that's fine. But activity, it will show you the history of all the things that I did. Now, this isn't all 30 days, but it's enough, to kind of show what I'm doing. I have to pay to move up to the next one. We already talked about the plan. Comments, this will show me all the comments. So right now there is a comment on the contact page, and I actually linked. This is a trackback. So on the old about, I'm going to delete this. But if you have any comments, they'll show up here. You'll have pending, approved, spam, and trash. There's the trash. We can delete permanently. So that's gone. But these are all of the comments. Don't have a lot. There's no feedback. You can add new posts on feedback, but leave that alone. And then plugins. We didn't get through these and do very much on it, but we cannot install plugins, upgrade to business plan to install plugins. So I can't upload anything. There you go. It's telling me. But some of these here, if I go into, let me pick one here. We'll just do Yoast. So it says I can't do anything. I have to be in the business side to do this. Now, what we're going to do in the next video is install on our own server, and we could do this unlimited. So this is one of the limitations of WordPress.com is unless you pay, you can't do the expansions with the plugins. But you saw we built a site without any of these plugins. Import, we already talked about that. We've already customized a lot. We do have sharing. This is where we can publicize the post. Those are the sharing. People, once again, we can add people to this. So if you have other people on WordPress.com you want to work on. And domains, we can add the domain if we own one. So if you own a something.com, we can add it, or you can buy it directly from them as well. You can also set up email. So you do need to either purchase it or go with the personnel. They actually give you a custom domain. Let's see. Free custom domain with this plan to use for your website. Doesn't apply to premium domains, but at least you get the .com. So for $4 a month, it's a pretty good deal. You're looking about $50 a year. And then settings, we've already gone through these as well. So now, last but not least, I know we're about an hour into this, and we still have a little bit of ways to go here, but I think it's important that the last thing we do is themes. So under personalize, we go to themes. And it says, do you run a small business? See the themes, blah, blah, blah. I'm creating a site for Portfolio Magazine, everything else here. And there's not a lot of free ones in here. But our current theme is 2015. So there's 290 themes here that we can work with. That's a lot. There's a lot going on here too. If you know, some are paid, and the ones that don't have any premium next to it, this little star and the dollar sign and how much, we can come in and test these out. So I can go through these, but if I'm creating a site and let's say this is a blog, right? So I typed in blog and we get a bunch of paid ones here, 59, $100, whatever, but there's some free ones. So I'm using 2015. What's Wilson? So I'm gonna click on Wilson. Kind of a different layout, huh? Activate this design. Okay. I'm gonna activate it. And we can go to customize the site. Look at my site now. If I come back and hit refresh, watch what happens. Wow, website changed, didn't it? This is the power of themes. I go, yeah, this is good. I can do menus. It's pretty much same stuff, color and background. We can change colors. Not much to change. This doesn't have a lot, does it? I don't like this. It's like, oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I'll hit the back button. And if I go back and click on 2015 and activate it, watch what happens. It goes back to the way it was. It remembers my settings. So don't be afraid to play here. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I know it seems like, whoops, I'm sorry, I clicked on my site, so I'll go back to themes. You know, it seems like, oh, we can just spend so much time here. We could. Maybe I'll do magazine. Anything here that looks decent? That's free. Let's do free over here. Here's all the freebies. Not bad. Maybe Canard. That looks cool. Let's activate it. I'll customize it. And let's see what happens here. Whoa. Use a big picture. Travel video. I'll go home. There we go. Not bad. I'd have to play with this. Under the customizer, there's a lot more stuff here. We have widgets and homepage settings and featured content. There's a lot going on here. We would really have to go through these one by one. And this is why I don't spend a lot of time on themes. I would have to teach 500 different classes to you guys once you create your own theme. But I think really what I want to get across here is if you choose a theme, once you have your theme set, you go, okay, I really like it. I like this theme. Well, what do I do next? You go into customize. And you have to go through these one by one. But the nice thing is we get to see the changes happen on the right while we're making the physical changes here on the left, or the settings changes is probably a better way to put it. So it's important that you play. I really cannot stress that enough. That's where the creativity comes in. It makes it much funner. Don't be afraid to break it. There's nothing here to break. And I think I said that in the last set of videos, is there's nothing here that you're going to totally hose. I mean, you could delete the site, but, you know, hey, then start over. So don't be afraid to play, especially with the WordPress.com. This is a good place to start. And that is about it. And so in 2 videos, in about 2 hours or so, we kind of covered all of the basics of WordPress.com. It gets you started. The tools are here. They're going to be a little different in our own self-install. They become a little bit more advanced. But that's because we have more control. They limit you on the control here. And you can see where it's really for people to build a very quick website, have it up and running, and not have to understand the back end and not understand everything that's happening on the server. So this is a very simple way to get started, a very easy way to get started with a lot of powerful tools. And I hope that you built something that you're proud of. If not, keep playing with it, keep experimenting, and that's what we're here to do. So we'll see you in the next video.